immigrant and marginalized communities, such as the $15 minimum wage, tax Amazon, defund Seattle police, renters' rights, addressing issues of homelessness, and in several issues of the international community, such as the anti-war effort, condemning the genocidal CAA laws of the Hindu supremacist government of Prime Minister Modi, and much more. A huge shout out to Councilwoman Kshama Sawant.
Yeah.
Condolences and solidarity to everybody who has lost loved ones in India, in the United States, and around the world. The resolution that we got passed on Monday demonstrates our movement's rejection of the status quo of billionaire profit-driven vaccine apartheid and vaccine nationalism, and our fight for vaccine internationalism for a people's vaccine. It is fitting, as others have said, that we are protesting outside the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation building. In addition to the long resume of bad actions by this foundation, let's not forget that they are also scandalously responsible for systematically and relentlessly funding the efforts towards privatization and charterization of American public schools, which is a blatant attack on educator unions and on the labor movement as a whole, and on the children of working and poor families as a whole. And I speak also, in addition to being an elected representative of Seattle's working people and a member of Socialist Alternative, as a rank and file member of the American Federation of Teachers, Local 1789. Throughout the pandemic and economic crisis, we have seen the stunning failures of the system of global capitalism, which has thrust the costs of this crisis on the backs of working people, both in the form of unnecessarily lost lives and the unprecedented financial distress. In countries like India and Brazil, reactionary regimes, hand in glove with the wealthy elite, arrogantly scorned warnings by public health experts of the dangers of the virus resurgence and prematurely opened the economy for profits. In India, the Hindu fundamentalist Modi regime and the wealthy elite bragged with pro-capitalist and nationalist pride about how India had supposedly beaten COVID. The absolutely gruesome and apocalyptic situation now unfolding in India is one with hundreds of millions of people caught in the deaths of their loved ones and despair for the living. In the US, lives that could have been saved were lost under the Trump administration. Trump also steadfastly defended big pharma profits of the rich and refused to remove the COVID-19 patent restrictions. His defeat was a historic repudiation by American voters of his reactionary, anti-worker and bigoted agenda. Biden and the Democratic establishment have carried out a major stimulus program, including child care benefits, which have been a crucial lifeline for American working people. But these measures have been primarily carried out under the intense public pressure to deliver on heightened expectations in the wake of Trump's disastrous reign and under the pressure to save their own capitalist system that has been in deep crisis. So it is no surprise that the Democratic establishment continues to fiercely oppose any kind of permanent shifts, such as the federal $15 minimum wage or Medicare for all. Similarly, after even 100 days in office, the Biden administration is still continuing the Trump-era policy and has not acted to remove patent restrictions on the COVID-19 vaccine. Instead of removing these restrictions, the Biden administration has attempted to exploit the inequities, recently agreeing to share surplus vaccines with Mexico, but only in exchange for Mexico cracking down on immigration from South and Central America to the United States. Arguments that pharmaceutical companies deserve huge profits as reward for innovation, or that they are necessary to develop future vaccines and treatments have no basis in reality. These self-serving lies from the capitalist elite ignore, as others have said, the overwhelming reliance of for-profit pharma companies on publicly funded technology development. The researchers and technicians, the heroes who have developed these life-saving vaccines, are mostly paid modest salaries and are supported by public grants and often do their work in public universities. But such is the defunct logic of capitalism that the inventions done by public resources and collective effort are then swooped down upon by the rich, who set up thickets of patents to make private profits out of public efforts. It is nothing but daylight robbery. Of course, big pharma profiting off human misery is nothing new. When medical technology considerably mitigated the risk of AIDS, as Brother Khan Hassan said, it took almost a decade before countries in the global south could benefit from them. And this was not because of any technical factors around the cost of production, but because of patent monopolies. Similar examples abound, such as with the price of insulin, the price of drugs treating cystic fibrosis and tuberculosis, illustrating the global significance of this issue. The opioid epidemic of recent years is yet another tragic example of pharma companies profiting at the expense of ordinary people and of this failed for-profit healthcare system. Yes, all of this seems irrational. Why would billionaires do this if it doesn't make sense? But we have to understand it does make sense for them, for their logic of profits, and not just profits of today, but the precedent that would be set if they relented now. Because if they relented now, it would be a victory for our movement, and we will be empowered by that victory, and we will go on fighting. That is why the capitalist class is relentless and ruthless in opposing even small measures and even such necessary measures in the face of a global tragedy. It's also no coincidence that even though nearly 80% of Democratic voters support Medicare for all, the Democratic establishment, completely beholden to healthcare profiteers, notoriously opposes this popular demand. By 2018, for example, the 5 members of Congress who comprise the Democratic National Campaign Committee's top leadership positions had received nearly $3 million in donations from healthcare industry in their careers. But this is not just about healthcare. Biden's Commerce Secretary is former Rhode Island Governor Democrat Gina Raimondo, who ruthlessly cut the pensions of public sector union workers in her state in order to avoid raising taxes on the rich. Biden's key position on climate change is occupied by Cedric Richmond, a former Black Congress member from Louisiana, who has been, this is the guy for climate change, okay? This guy is one of the largest recipients of fossil fuel money. His district has 7 of the 10 most air polluted census tracts in America, adversely affecting predominantly Black, working class and poor people in Louisiana, and he has steadfastly refused to address it, serving the oil and gas barons instead.
That's not right.
We have to understand that whether in the United States or internationally, we will not be able to build a humane society on the basis of capitalism. We cannot hold our breath for the logic of the billionaire class or the logic of capitalism to magically shift to a different kind of capitalism. Such a thing is not going to happen. What we have to fight for is a different kind of society. We have to reject any kind of ideas of corporate philanthropy or black capitalism or anything like that. We need an entirely different kind of society if we are to solve the problems of healthcare crisis and climate change, and if we are to end oppression. We will need a socialist society based on international solidarity. And for that, we will need to build that international solidarity recognizing that the laws under capitalism, including global trade laws, are set up for the profit maximization of the elite in all countries at the expense of all working people globally. And we will need to fight to take these big corporations into democratic public ownership by workers to run the economy in the interest of the majority and the planet. And concretely, our movement also has to begin discussing the need for a new party for working people that will fight for us and with us and not for and with the billionaire class. Solidarity.
Very good.